The New Mutants. The film starts with Donnie Moonstar, Blue Hunt, mentioning how her father used to tell her that inside everyone were two bears, the good one made up of compassion and kindness, and the evil one made up of fears and aggression. Cut to Donnie waking up as her father William, Adam Beach, waking her up as their reservation appears to be hit by a tornado. As the residents flee, William hides Donnie behind a tree as he goes to help the others. Moments later, William is thrown back in front of Donnie, dead. She tries to run for it as a growling entity approaches her, but she tumbles down a hill. Donnie wakes up in a facility. She meets Dr. Cecilia Reyes, Alice Braga, who tells her that she is in a kind of hospital for people with abilities like hers and that she is the sole survivor of the incident on the reservation. Reyes tells Donnie that she is a mutant, but Donnie is not aware of any powers she may has. Reyes holds a session with the other members of the facility, Ron Sinclair, Maisie Williams, who has the power to turn into a wolf and suffered trauma from when the priest of her church tried to kill her, Ilyana Rasputin, Anya Taylor-Joy, who carries a purple dragon hand puppet that she calls Lockheed, Roberto da Costa, Henry Zaga, who comes from a wealthy family from Brazil, and Sam Guthrie, Charlie Heaton, who appears with a black eye and broken arm. As Reyes tries to counsel the teens, Donnie joins them. She is greeted with smarmy remarks from Roberto and Ilyana. Reyes has Ilyana show Donnie around the campus, but Ilyana couldn't care less and just sprays graffiti on a nearby fountain. When Donnie tries to run away, she ends up running into a force field. Ilyana laughs at her, but when Donnie tries to attack her, Ilyana just disappears in a flash. Donnie contemplates jumping from the clock tower, but Ron comes up to talk her out of it and convince her to stick around. After helping her back in, Ron shows Donnie around the facility a little more. She shows Donnie that Sam's superpower is flying at super speed, which he practices by hooking himself up to a large weight, and it causes him to hurt himself since he doesn't know how to fully control it. Roberto won't say what his power is, and the girls agree that Ilyana is the worst. Donnie returns to her room to sleep while Reyes monitors her and the other teens. Donnie dreams about the incident at her reservation, and Reyes notices readings of psionic energy coming from Donnie. Sam and Roberto are in the laundry room until Roberto leaves. Sam hears a banging coming from one of the washing machines. He approaches it and sees a hand pressed against it. It takes him to a mine he used to work in back in Kentucky. He walks past other miners until he reaches his father, Thomas Key, who appears undead. Sam is then blasted against a wall by the force in the machine. Later, the teens are in the recreation room when Ilyana makes more derogatory comments to Donnie, Pocahontas, Standing Rock. Donnie doesn't take the abuse any longer and calls out Ilyana's behavior, which leads to them fighting. After Donnie punches her, Ilyana's right arm produces the Soul's Word, which she almost uses against Donnie until Reyes comes in and uses her force field to stop the fight, then put the girls in solitary confinement. Donnie overhears Ilyana whispering to herself in her room. She is shown having a flashback to her childhood, where a tall gaunt man in a smiley mask loomed over her. Donnie later has a nightmare where she finds herself in the snowy woods close to where she lost her home and father, and a monstrous entity tries to attack her. Reyes finds her covered in something wet, and she proceeds to take more tests from Donnie. Goes to the chapel for confession. She hears what sounds like a voice telling her she is inhuman and will go to hell. Ron runs out of the chapel to avoid what she thinks is a demon. After Reyes falls asleep, Sam and Roberto invite Donnie and Ron to join them, and Ilyana, up in the attic since it's the one place that is apparently not monitored. They mention Reyes's superior that she keeps alluding to, stating that after their time there, they may go to the facility for special mutants. The guys think she is talking about Professor Xavier and his mutant academy. Ilyana then has them do lie detector tests, wherein it is revealed that she killed 18 men in her old town. She asks Donnie about her bear necklace, which was given to her by her father. It turns out Reyes was monitoring the attic as well and tries to admonish the teens for disobeying her. Later, Ilyana spikes her tea to get her to pass out, and the teens proceed to have fun. Donnie and Ron dance together, Ilyana makes fun of Reyes, and Sam and Roberto spend time together. Sam tells Roberto that he accidentally killed his father and half the miners when he lost control of his powers. Roberto refuses to say what happened that got him into the facility. Donnie and Ron go outside, where Ron shows Donnie the night sky under the force field, which looks lovely. The two then share their first kiss. Meanwhile, Roberto finds Ilyana in the pool. They start to hook up, but he reveals that he burned his girlfriend to death with his powers. Ilyana says he cannot hurt her, but moments later, she appears to vanish. A demonic creature appearing as Roberto's girlfriend on fire then tries to attack him. He rages out and his fire powers are activated. The others come in to help him, and Reyes pushes him into the pool. Ilyana appears and says she was never in the pool. Reyes punishes Ilyana for drugging her by confining her to her room. Ron takes a shower and sees the demonic image of her priest, Happy Anderson, whom she killed, approaching her with a W branding iron similar to one he used on her back years earlier. The priest brands Ron's neck, and the others try to calm her down. Ilyana somehow gets out of her room and tells the others that all of this is happening because of Donnie. She tries to attack her again with the Soul Sword and transports her briefly to a hellish landscape before Donnie snaps her out by manifesting one of the creepy smiley masks to scare Ilyana. Reyes runs more tests on Donnie, and Donnie starts seeing visions of mutant children being tortured at the Transigen facility from Logan, making her realize that they are not going to be sent to the Mutant Academy. Reyes reports to her real employers, the Essex Corporation, who determine that Donnie's power makes her a threat and that she must be killed. Donnie goes to Ilyana's room to try and talk to her. She gives her back Lockheed since she dropped him, and Donnie asks her where she transported her to. Ilyana says it's Limbo. She explains that her powers manifested when she was kept as a prisoner by the men in masks, smiley men. Reyes takes Donnie away for what is supposedly one last test. Ron follows as she knows something is not right. Reyes tries to put Donnie to sleep before injecting her IV with poison. Ron uses her wolf powers to sneak through the vents and attack Reyes, clawing at her until she flees, and Ron saves Donnie. Meanwhile, Ilyana and Roberto are attacked by the smiley men, who remove their masks to reveal their hideous blind faces. After using the Soul's Word and Sam's speed to kill the smiley men, the teens go into Reyes' office to find files on them. Ilyana was the most viable candidate for Essex since she is classified as a killer, but they learn that Donnie's power was going to have her killed. They figure that, in order to leave the facility, they have to find Reyes and kill her. Ron sniffs out Reyes' trail, but she traps the teens in her own force fields. She tells them that Donnie's power is to bring out your greatest fears and traumas to use against you. Before she can kill Donnie, the facility comes under attack by the Demon Bear, the entity that destroyed Donnie's home. The Demon Bear mauls Reyes to death, which breaks the force fields, but the Demon Bear proceeds to attack the teens. Ilyana goes into limbo with the Soul's Word and brings Lockheed to life to fight the monster. They take the fight to the chapel, where Donnie is unconscious as she feels she is not strong enough to fight it. Sam and Roberto unleash their own powers to fight back, while Ron wolfs out to claw at the creature's face. As the others are getting demolished even with their powers, Donnie sees a vision of her father encouraging her to fight back. Just before the Demon Bear can devour Ron, Donnie wakes up and talks to it calmly, bringing it to a non-monstrous form that goes to rest and no longer harm them. The sun rises on the new day. The teens discover that the force field barrier has gone down, meaning they are free. Donnie thanks the others for saving her, but Ron says she saved them. They all then decide to head into the nearest town as they start new lives. 5 mutant teens Donnie, Ilyana, Ron, Roberto, and Sam are kept in a testing facility under the watch of Dr. Cecilia Reyes. Each of them suffered a past trauma connected to their powers. Donnie's reservation was destroyed, and her father was killed by what was believed to be a tornado, but was really an entity of fear called the Demon Bear. Ilyana was a prisoner of a group of kidnappers with smiley masks, and she has the ability to manifest the Soul's Word and travel to Limbo to fight her enemies. Ron can turn into a wolf and was branded by a priest in her old town. Roberto can produce fire energy and accidentally killed his girlfriend that way. Sam can fly at super speed, but accidentally killed his father when he realized his power. All of these fears become real when Donnie arrives, as her power is to use one's fear against them in such a way. Reyes tells the teens that she is prepping them to join what they think is Xavier's Mutant Academy, but in reality, is the torture facility Transigen from the Essex Corporation. After she is instructed to kill Donnie, Ron saves her by attacking Reyes. After the teens fight entities resembling the smiley men, Reyes tries to capture the teens, but is killed by the Demon Bear. Donnie is knocked unconscious while the other 4 use their powers to fight the Demon Bear. Donnie sees a vision of her father encouraging her to overcome her fear, which she does and uses this to calm the Demon Bear down into a less monstrous entity that finally rests. With Reyes' barrier gone, the 5 teens head to the nearest town together as new friends who are now free.